News with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
The racetrack, Gina, was on Senna's family farm. There's a family farm with a go-kart track on it.
Just like your childhood.
Well, we had an oval. It was a 30-degree banked oval.
Right.
It wasn't as big as Talladega, but yeah, I get it. Same thing. Race car track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Idyllic.
Right.
So some pretty big news as we record this that just broke not too long before the show started. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison plans to elevate charges against the former police officer who knelt on George Floyd's neck. He now wants to add charges of aiding and abetting as well to the three officers who were just sort of standing around the scene. So this is pretty big. The other officers, it was Tu Thao, Alexander Kung, and Thomas Lane, will be charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. And they spoke on conditions of anonymity, but I'm pretty sure at this point it's everywhere. Chauvin, he was the now former officer who was kneeling on George Floyd's neck. He was arrested last Friday, charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter, but that has been upgraded. And I looked into it a little, but I don't know how it varies from state to state. So this is definitely a Mark Garrigus conversation and not a Gina Grad conversation. But just a little light research on, well, what's the difference? What's second-degree murder? And that's generally defined as intentional murder that lacks premeditation and intended to only cause bodily harm and demonstrate an extreme indifference to human life.
There's a difference between improv and scripted. Basically.
Sure.
Been said many times.
Sure.
Mark Garrigus should defend one of these cops just to make him the least popular person on the planet.
To extend his lead at least popular person. He's already there.
Right. Yeah, he's already on Mount Rushmore. Because I talked to him. We did a special podcast yesterday at Reasonable Doubt because Scott Peterson's going to get a new trial. And Garrigus is knee deep in that, but Scott, it's an interesting story, and the reason he's probably going to get a retrial is they had a death penalty juror selection. So Mark Garrigus says, like, when a realtor says location, for him, it's jury selection. You want to get what you want. You want to get the result you want. It's all about jury selection. And he'll tell you that, black women are tougher on crime or white males are more sympathetic toward X, Y, and Z. Like, he knows. And it's all, that's why they argue so much over the selection. They got the death penalty. So when you're doing a death penalty case, when the state is seeking the death penalty, when they do the juror selection, you have to be okay with the death penalty. They can't select you if you go, I'm fundamentally against the death penalty. I'm never gonna okay that. They need to know that if you believe this person is guilty, or we can convince you this person is guilty, and we're going for the death penalty, you're going to do that. But what ends up happening is it becomes a kind of self-selecting group that are a lot tougher on crime, as you think about it, Yeah,
if you're for the death penalty, or if you say it's that question, yes, of course you're going to be, tougher.
Imagine if you just took a group where it's like, hey, you like barbecue or are you vegan? You'd get a different group in there with different thoughts toward punishment and crime and that kind of thing. And so they got the death penalty jury, and he got the death penalty, I think. And now he's not, they're not going to, and by the way, I don't know. This notion where everyone gets the death penalty and then, 41 years later,
died of natural causes.
Right. So, okay. But they're going to get a retrial. They think they're going to get a retrial based on that. Yes.
Scott Peterson requested it. Has he gotten that? Do we know? Or
all I know is that there's news, and Garrigus thinks he may be, he may be on The Masked Singer next year. I don't know. That's.
My Adam, my brother-in-law was a young teacher at University High School in San Diego. He's now professor of Shakespearean literature in Atlanta. And that's where he and my sister and 5 kids live. In his class, when he was a high school teacher, he had Scott Peterson and Phil Mickelson.
Wow.
And they were both on the golf team together. And my brother-in-law has pictures of him and Scott and Phil Mickelson playing golf together. How weird is that?
He might be subpoenaed.
Wow.
Well, they had asked Paul at one point after the murders and the conviction if Paul would, since he was his teacher for 2 years, if he would write the book, and they offered him good money. But Paul said, I just can't. It's just too dark. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to spend my days in San Quentin talking to Scott Peterson and, with a guy who I know did it, and I'm not going to do that. So he did.
Did he know he did it based on understanding aspects of his personality with the evidence?
I don't think so. I think he knew just from all the evidence that we saw and the guilty verdict by the jury. I don't think he or I or anybody else I know thought, well, he might have gotten a bad rap. Everybody, I think the system in that case worked.
Yeah, well, we'll keep you posted, but it just made me think of, you brought up Garagos, and I just spoke to him yesterday about it. Sorry. He's been on death row since 2005, by the way. Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of arrests, protests in major cities were much calmer the last night than they had been. Many cities intensified their curfews. Authorities in New York, D.C. ordered people off the street while it was still daylight. L.A. County, it was 6 p.m. It was, I think, 4 p.m. in Beverly Hills. Some had 1 p.m. At least 9,300 people have been arrested in protests around the country. That's according to the AP. LA has recorded 2,700 arrests, then followed by New York, about 1,500. And it was funny because I'm sure you all saw in the news last night, people literally downtown just waiting around to be arrested. Like they wanted on record that they were arrested. So people would literally just kind of like, no, take your time. Grab your zip ties.
Yeah, I saw some of that. Then I realized that they're all being ushered on to the modified Greyhound bus, and they're putting 45 people on this bus. Isn't that the worst thing we can do with the pandemic? Putting everyone on a piece of public transportation confined that way. I thought the plan was to do everything but that. I thought
Greyhound buses have great ventilation, though.
Everyone knows this.
Well, Adam,
air filters.
I think you missed part of Barbara Ferrer's speech about that. She says, as long as you don't drop them off at the beach, it will be fine.
Yes, as long as they're not sunning themselves on the beach. Yeah, I'm looking at all these people, and you have to think, the folks I saw, the ones that are waiting to be arrested, these are like housewives in yoga pants. Like, these women are just hanging out, like, go ahead and zip tie me and I'll walk it over here. And I'm watching them do it, and most of the protesters have masks, but no one's wearing gloves. a lot of the cops are wearing gloves, but many aren't. The whole glove mask thing is sort of catch can with the cops. Like, some of the cops have them. Some of them have them, but they wear them like a kerchief around their neck. Like, it's like, I got this mask, but I just kind of wear it down around my neck. And then none of the protesters are wearing gloves. I remember all the glove talk. We all need to glove up. We need to glove. And half the cops their hands are all over them. I'm not saying this because I'm paranoid. I'm saying this because we were nuts for screaming at everyone to do this 2 weeks ago. The cops are like escorting them with their hands on them. Then they push them all into a giant bus, which is the thing we said to stay away from. And all the people that were being arrested, presumably, were the people who were the tip of the spear of the whole pandemic crisis 2 weeks ago. These were the middle-aged women who were yelling at their teenage boys, you take your shoes off, you come back in the house, you wipe down those shoes. Now they're all just cops' hands all over them getting put in a bus. I guess they're done with it.
Yeah,
I guess they're done being scared of it. Okay. Because these are like middle-aged, woke, white women and dudes. They aren't the folks that are, Daytona Beach, spring break partiers. These people were listening over the last few months. I'm guessing. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, Floyd Mayweather has offered to pay for George Floyd's funeral services. The family has accepted. And you think, well, that's very nice. Okay. Anyway, well, he does have a connection, sort of. So he's going to pay for different services in Houston, Minnesota, Charlotte, and another location they haven't figured out yet. And Mayweather thought it was the right thing to do after learning Ansel Jennings, the CEO of his TMT music label, grew up with George. So there is a little bit of a connection there. And he's going to take care of everything, apparently.
Well, good for Floyd. I can't figure out if I love that guy or hate that guy, but I think I like him.
Yeah, I think this tips the scale a bit. Now,
wait a minute.
Yeah.
John Mayer, Floyd Mayweather, good guys, douchebags. What do we think? I've come around on John Mayer.
Yeah, John Mayer, I'm not convinced is a decent guy.
I am, and I might be moving toward Floyd as well. You know what I mean? Not physically, but emotionally.
Sure, don't go the arm's reach. No.
Yeah, Patrick, what do you think?
Well, it's a good move. I don't judge anybody. I just keep quiet and listen.
Okay. There we go.
You can have them both. So everybody's doing their part. Everybody's trying to make a difference, push toward equality and better understanding. And that includes Grindr. They, and please don't make me explain Grindr to you because I know that you know. They're removing its ethnicity filter in what they say is a show of support for Black Lives Matter. This is according to CNN. So the gay dating and hookup app announced the change on Monday, saying, "We will continue to fight racism on Grindr, both through dialogue with our community and a zero tolerance policy for racism and hate speech on our platform. As part of this commitment and based on your feedback, we've decided to remove the ethnicity filter from our next release. Apparently, you could pay for an upgrade called Extra service that would let you filter in and out of various ethnicities of dudes to grind with."
Is it all? It's all gay, right? Grindr?
Yes.
Well, I can check if they've done that on the app right here.
Yeah, let us know.
I'm on
you have the upgrade.
I'm on a special. I got a special app. It's called Mustachio, and we're smaller.
I'll slide in my joke, which is by the time I use one of these dating apps, I'm gonna go for one for old folks called carbon dating.
It's real good.
65 and above. Only if you're high risk for the COVID-19 virus should you apply to carbon dating. Yes.
That's really good.
Breaking hearts and hips since 2017.
So when things really started to pop off in D.C. the other day, news came out that Trump was whisked away to the bunker, presumably by the Secret Service. You know, sometimes I don't know that you have a lot of choice when the Secret Service has a job to do. I get it. And they were, concerned for his personal safety.
Do you think he can be whisked away? I don't think he can. I think if he's in the middle of a story, those guys are going to have to wait.
Sit
you know
it
what I mean? Like if I'm in the middle of a story and someone tries to whisk me away, I'm like, hold on.
Hey, what gives?
Right? Let's give me a couple more minutes here. Right.
Well, he'd like to say his piece about what happened as protesters were gathering outside the White House, and he was reportedly taken to the bunker at the request of the Secret Service. He spoke to Fox News and wanted people to know that the reports are false. He wasn't taken anywhere. He simply happened at that moment to want to go down to the bunker and inspect it. It's a coincidence. Please stop making it something it's not.
Really? He said that?
He wanted to.
I gotta measure the drapes.
The news was false and explained that he simply went downstairs to inspect it. He wanted to inspect the bunker.
Jesus, I got to hear that. Do we have it?
I didn't pull it. Sorry, Chris, if you can find it.
That's going to be comical. All right, well, you can find it. Anyway, keep going. We'll find it.
All right. Well, some big news out of USC. They're seems like they're the first to go on record, at least that I've seen, Brian. Yeah. The University of Southern California will resume in-person classes for the fall semester. They just announced that face coverings will be mandatory and the schedule's a little different. Semester is going to begin on August 17th. That's a week earlier than originally scheduled. And the university transitioned to online instruction in mid-March, kind of when everybody did. All classes and final exams will end before Thanksgiving, and the fall break will be eliminated. So they're just adjusting everything. They want everybody back at their desks.
Well, we're going to look like fucking retards with they close the schools down. That's a dumb fucking idea. We're fucking idiots. We should have never closed the school down. There's no kids get this shit. I had to watch my whole kid's virtual graduation last night. Just sit in the living room and watch a stupid thing with all the pictures. And every picture, because I go to my house is in a kind of high achievement neighborhood, and all the pictures would be the headshot of the kid, and then next to them would be like their activity. They'd be playing a violin. They'd be playing a cello. They'd be jumping a horse. My fucking picture of my son eating Hot Pockets and playing Fortnite. Like it was
holding a video game controller.
Yeah, like my kids weren't doing
Your
anything.
daughter's texting.
Sonny was
shrugging.
Yeah, like wait for me. Like these other kids were like, one kid had to be 50 meters deep, scuba certified, like shot of him in the Caribbean. Every other kid was playing an instrument. Half of them were up on stage, doing some interpretive dance.
There had to have been one on a horse at least.
Many on horses.
Yeah.
Riding wheelies on mountain bikes, and I was just like, look at that kid. Look at that kid. Look at these kids are kicking. What the hell's going on around here? Yeah, those kids are kicking ass.
Yeah, that had to be a tough watch.
Well, it was weird because it was they did it alphabetically, and I got twins. So once we got past the C's, I was like, can I leave? And like, no, we have to watch the graduation, and I'm like, okay, but.
Yeah, if you were the Zuckercorns, you'd be screwed.
Yeah.
I had to cheer on the kids that were coming later on that were friends with my kids.
Oy.
And I mean, it's just one of those things where you go, you got a decision to make. You get up and leave and then sort of pay the price, slowly for the rest of your life, or do you just sit here and ride out the next 32 minutes and be glad you did?
Sonny comes home. It's like, Sonny, I want you to meet your new best friend, Johnny Anderson. I don't even know this kid. That's
right.
It'll pay off. Trust me.
Right.
Yeah, but you're at home, Adam, right? Can't you just fill up a cocktail and then another cocktail?
I said, like, at a certain point, I did say, can I get up and go to the kitchen? Like, once we pass my kids, what are we missing? So I was granted that permission.
Oh, that's nice.
Get up and go to the kitchen. But we did. And then, the teachers, by the way, I don't know when the last time you guys sat through a teacher where it's like, they're sitting there and they're like, there's a lot of, they start talking like, when I met Rebecca, it was in the 4th grade. Her smile could light up a room. Rebecca always thought of others before she thought of herself. It reminds me of a poem that it's like, oh boy, can we move this shit along? Because like I'm so fucking used to like, I want to see the Lance Armstrong documentary. I'm watching The Last Dance. Like everything to me is like, here we go. Like you forget how far entertainment has come along, and you haven't been in school and seen a non-professional read that teleprompter, man. And by the way, G-rated, right down the middle, nothing edgy, nothing going on, all the platitudes, all the stories about the kids and putting other people before them. And I, as a teacher, I wish I had a class of 30 Rebecca Stevensons. It makes coming to work a joy. When I see, it's like, oh boy, you guys forgot about all those assemblies and all that shit you had to sit through. Teachers are windy, man.
She really lights up a room.
Right. Well, think about the job of a teacher, which is like, if you're up on stage, like if you're a stand-up comedian and you've been up on stage for 4 minutes and you're not hearing any laughter, that's a lifetime. But as a teacher, all you do is stand all day, 7 hours a day in front of a group, get no laughter, you have no metronome. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have this, I got to pace it up because everyone's bored as shit and they're not going anywhere and they're captive. So your whole fucking metronome, your entertainment metronome has been slowed down to a crawl.
Yeah.
All right.
No argument.
Yeah. New policy. You know, those they can only use words that start with the letters of your name. So if it's Gina, you know, it's like 4 words: generous,
Great.
You know,
Right.
Ingenuity, nubile.
Right.
Oh, thank you.
Whatever.
Nubile. Going into the 8th grade. We have the Trump audio from the Kilmer show. Max Pat has found it.
And then the reports were they were so worried they brought you downstairs in the White House to a bunker. What could you tell me Sunday night was like for you and your family?
Well, it was a false report. I wasn't down. I went down during the day, and I was there for a tiny, little short period of time, and it was much more for an inspection. There was no problem during the day. The problem, I saw Leland got whacked pretty good, but that was during the night. And these problems are during the night, not during the day. And I go down, I've gone down 2 or 3 times, all for inspection.
I'm convinced.
So he's an inspector.
I'm convinced as well. All right. Apologize, Gina.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I really got that wrong. He does inspection work.
Sure.
Okay.
That's a job.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a job.
First off, mildew's an issue in bunkers. I don't know if you guys know that. But
and that White House is very old.
They're below the frost line, man. You got to get out there, and you have to boots on the ground. You got to inspect.
That's right.
And
who better to inspect it than the one at the top?
do that?
He has a building background.
That's right.
You think he's built a lot of subterranean parking lots there in Jersey and New York City. Nobody knows the subterranean world like the Trumps do. Number one, foundation and subterranean world as well. These other guys, these Secret Service guys, a bunch of yahoos who played football for the Air Force Academy. What do they know about subterranean construction?
Next to nothing.
Next to nothing. Well, there you go. Well, that's how you know there was an inspection going on.
Done and done.
Mm-hmm.
So I did say that everyone seems to be doing their part just to help the world move forward right now. That includes Jennifer Anniston. God bless her. She's raising money for coronavirus relief in her own way. Fox News reports that she revealed on her Instagram she's auctioning off a nude portrait of herself that was taken in 1995 at the height of Friends frenzy. It's you may have seen this picture before. We have it, sort of crossing her legs and in front of herself, but she's definitely naked. And thank you. And 100% of the proceeds, according to her Instagram post, are going to NAF Clinics. That's an organization which provides free coronavirus testing and care nationwide to the medically underserved.
You know, it's a good gig. You know, we always think, fashion photographers cool, especially when the chicks are getting naked and stuff. But the best gig is bathrobe wrangler, because the other guys, he's behind the tripod, he's got a boner, but the bathrobe wrangler guy, that guy gets to see nipple and pube and ass and everything, because his job is just to sort of wait, like the guy gets the tennis balls when they miss the serve, His job is to be in like a 3-point stance with a bathrobe, and then as soon as they go, all right, we're going to break it down, he gets to go up and do the bathrobe, but he gets a fucking front row seat to all that is going on in the nudity.
The hot chick actually walks toward him.
Yeah. The bathtub. I'm going to tell my son, listen, boy, I don't know what you're thinking about at this point in your life, but hot chick, celebrity, fashion shoot, bathrobe wrangler.
That's really good.
Well, and then what do you have to be good at in order to do that? You have to be good at being really good at acting like you're not looking at what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that's number one.
Unprofessional.
I'm going to train my boy. I'm going to be like, look, I'm going to get my underpants and I'm going to put my bathrobe on the other side of the room. Okay? All right, let's go. Let's start working it now. Like Todd Marinovich's dad, except for with bathrobes. You know what I mean?
Marv.
I'm going, you know what? I'm getting rid of the underpants. I'm just going to go full nude because I want him to be ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell him you're going to need two things. There's two qualities that I need to bestow upon you. You need to be really good with bathrobes. I need you to really know how to transport a bathrobe. You don't hand me that bathrobe upside down. I'm putting my fucking foot through the arm. No. You work on that. We're going to drill. We're drill hard on that. The other aspect of this game, look, I'm sorry if it's culturally offensive. You have to pass yourself off as being gay. You have to. It's not going to work if you're up there looking like Patrick Warburton talking about nailing some hot trim the night before. It's not going to.
No.
You need to be gay.
Disqualifying.
You pass yourself off as gay, and you really need to handle the terry cloth. Okay?
I like your idea of simulating the game situation by being nude. Like if a team knows they're going on the road, like where it's going to rain or whatever, they'll turn the sprinklers on. They use the wet footballs. They'll use the pipe-in noise, sometimes.
It is exactly analogous. There's no difference. It's spot on. You're saying exactly what I'm saying. It's not even an analogy. It's what I'm doing.
Pretty much just that, yeah.
That's right. But we are going to simulate conditions. There's beach shoots.
Yeah.
That sand is very different from a footing standpoint than Jennifer Aniston's shoot. That's inside.
Go get the graham crackers from the kitchen. Crumble them up.
That's right. We're going to be outside like the SI photo shoot. They go topless all the time. They paint on the beginning. You're going to have to work that. We're going to have conditions. I'm going to turn a fan on. There's offshore breezes. I'm going to put some sand down. I want that kid to be prepared. And when it comes time, when the call is given out, I want him to answer that call.
Yeah.
Be
You're
ready
good,
to
Dad.
answer that call, yeah.
Bathrobe wrangler. You know what I might do? I might even do a version of the bathrobe with like a batting donut on a baseball. I may add weight to it. I may take like a batting donut and tie it around the sash. You know what I mean? To add
I thought you were going to say like a bigger girl model.
No, well that too, but I'm gonna add weight to the bathrobe because you know what I'm gonna tell him? I'm telling him he's gonna beg me. He's gonna be, Dad, no more weight on the back. I go, you know what? You're gonna thank me when you get down to a regulation robe. It's gonna feel like nothing.
Any idiot can carry a normal bathrobe.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna get on this immediately. Patrick, how old are your kids?
Time.
Can I? You want me to train them?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I work with them already a little bit, but I would love it if I could get you to work with them a little bit. Sometimes, they just don't want to listen to Dad. But Talon's 27. He's 6'5".
Oh, well, that's what I'm
204.
All right.
He's a monster.
How's this gay game?
Needs work.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. He's got to integrate the description fabulous and a little bit more of what he describes.
Yeah.
And then there's Lexi, and she's 26. And then Shane, 22.
Now, Shane, 20, male? Sorry?
Yes.
Yes.
Gabriel's name.
I'll do it. I'll tell you what. I'll teach one of the boys long snapping, and then the other boy I'll teach the bathrobe hustler.
They can flip a coin for it.
Yeah, so ask him. Maybe the 6'5" guy wants to do the long snapping.
There's a good gamut there.
Yeah.
Well, he has a 19-year-old. It might not be too late for him for bathrobe wrangling.
We'll do both. We'll do both. You know what? We'll try him out at both. We'll see what the fit is. I don't want to force.
Where's passion lies?
Yeah, where's passion lies? Sorry, go ahead.
I'll watch as well while you're working.
Oh, that's a gift. Patrick, please.
Yes.
You're embarrassing yourself. Well, let's talk about another kid that seems like he could have been on the graduation with Sonny and Natalia. 13-year-old boy graduated from City College in Southern California with his fourth associate's degree, making him the youngest graduate in the school's history. Little Jack Rico of La Mirada, California. He graduated from Fullerton College. Rico started taking classes at the school when he was 11. He spent the last 2 years earning 4 different degrees. With most schools closed during the pandemic, Rico's family's holding a special drive-by celebration for him. And he plans to continue his education in the fall at the University of Nevada, where he's been given a full scholarship. So little Doogie there will be 14 and going to the University of Nevada.
Yeah.
He's the exact me.
Sorry, wait, you broke up, Patrick. What'd you say?
He's the exact opposite of me.
Yeah. Now, look, maybe Maybe things work for him academically. Maybe they don't. Maybe the way of the robe is not in his future, but maybe it is. I'm not telling him what direction to go, but I'm saying I can teach him how to hustle that robe.
Yeah.
That's all. All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.